Hey everybody, what is going on? Good afternoon. Mock game coming up in about 5.5 hours here. I know that we are all excited, or at least a decent chunk of us are excited, and we'll get plenty of good information tonight. Like I said, going to be a video going up pretty late, talking about whatever it is we hear about what happens over at Lumen. But until we get there, we got some other things to get into here, like, for instance, the latest and greatest information about the Devon Witherspoon contract extension, and of course, the very closely related Christian Gonzalez contract extension. Those two things are very tightly intertwined. All right, so we got this article over on Bleacher Report. The report itself, the information from this report is from Ian Rappaport. So let's take a look at what he has to say. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. And keep something in mind here. The majority of what we've heard in the way of actual concrete information when it comes to Devon Witherspoon and also Christian Gonzalez has been from Rappaport. And he has been the guy who has been relatively adamant that something was getting done, that progress was being made, and that it looked like things were going to come to an end very soon. So when I saw this, it caught my attention because, like I said, most of the positive vibes we have on this front have been from him. So you get into this article very quickly. The very first sentence is Gonzalez and Witherspoon remain far from finalizing extensions with their respective teams. That seems to be at least a little bit different from what has been said before, when Rappaport seemed to believe that player and team in both instances were fairly close, although Witherspoon might have been a little bit closer. So Rappaport goes on to say that Gonzo is in talks for the contract, but he feels like they have not advanced that far. Now, that's Gonzalez. We obviously don't really care about that, but he does go on to say it wouldn't be surprising to him anymore if he ends up waiting until next season. And that is pretty different from the sentiments that he was expressing a few weeks ago. Now, if you go to the next part of this article where he talks about Witherspoon, on Saturday, which is of course today, he said it doesn't seem to be anything imminent or close right now in terms of Seattle and Witherspoon coming to an agreement. So that is, again, the energy at least is a little bit different than it was before. Before, it felt like things were very, very close. So if you keep going through the article, Rappaport said he feels Witherspoon wants to be far clear of the highest paid corner in the NFL. And maybe this was the case anyway, but this is kind of what I was afraid of when Denzel Ward set the mark for average annual value. What was it, a week and a half ago? Something like that. So when Denzel Ward got that, and I know it was just a 2-year extension, but it was $31.1 million, I believe, per year, which broke the record set by Trent McDuffie, who set it at 31. I think the waters got muddied. Now, Witherspoon, who might have previously said I should get a little bit more than Trent McDuffie, might be thinking, well, I should get way more than Denzel Ward because I'm younger, I'm better, I'm improving. And as much as Witherspoon has had some injuries in his career, Denzel Ward's got all those concussion things going on, so it's not any better over there. All right, guys, let's take a quick break here to talk a little bit about Prize Picks, currently the #1 sports pick app in America. The app is very easy to use. Check it out to my left here. You can do player picks, where you just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Or you can pick teams, where you pick winners, spread, or total on any game or fight. The app is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Right now, they have a great offer. You can play your first $5 lineup and get $150 in lineups if you win. All you have to do is use code HMA when you sign up. It's a brand new offer. Best time possible to get on the app. So get on over there and get to winning that first lineup. So remember, Prize Picks, code HMA. Download the app today and remember to always gamble responsibly. Now, what does far clear of the highest paid cornerback in the NFL mean? Rappaport does go on to reference the Bijan Robinson deal recently, which was $1.65 million more in annual salary compared to the previous record setter, which was Saquon Barkley. So if that is a representation of what is considered to be far clear, that I don't mind so much. Even if you kind of make it a little bit more fat because the amount of money that cornerbacks get paid is more, then you're going from 31.1 to probably 1.9 million more, which would be 33 million a year. I don't really have a big problem with that. If Witherspoon wants 33 million a year, yeah, sign me up for that. I'm down with that. I think that he is maybe the best corner in football. He's certainly in the conversation, and he deserves to get paid at that rate. And if we are overpaying him technically by $1 million a year, I don't care. That kind of thing doesn't really move me. I don't want to overpay mediocre players. I am totally okay with slightly overpaying a superstar. Devon Witherspoon is definitely a superstar. The issue would come in if he wants significantly more than that. If he looks at Denzel Ward and says, he got 31.1, I'm younger, I'm better, I'm more valuable, I'm more likely to be available in the near future. And I know Witherspoon has some injury red flags, but Ward's got the concussion stuff that he's kind of got dangling over his head. So if he's saying I want 35 or 36 million a year, that's where the problem starts to come in. And look, I think Witherspoon is about as good as it gets, and I think he is incredibly valuable to this team. I want him to get a contract extension, and I'm okay if he sets the record. I'm okay if he sets the record by a pretty good amount. But it should be pointed out at this time that this is mutually beneficial and that Devon Witherspoon should feel strongly motivated to find the common ground, just as much as this team should. Yeah, the team wants to keep him around long term, but let's say something doesn't get done, and I'll put it to you this way. If Witherspoon signs today, or if he signs in 4 weeks, it doesn't really matter. The only time it starts to matter would be when the regular season starts, I think. Once the regular season starts, that's when feelings might start to get hurt. That's when asking prices might get a little bit more objectionable. And that's when John Schneider might say, we're shutting it down. We can't talk about a contract extension right now. We got football to play. We'll revisit this in a few months, maybe. Or maybe when the offseason starts. And deadlines have a way of getting things done. So if that is the deadline that these parties establish, then I imagine that something gets done. And as long as it gets done before the regular season starts, I don't think it matters. But the regular season does start eventually, right? We're about a month away, a little bit more than 4 weeks away from the start of the regular season. I want to get this done before then. And so should Witherspoon, because his cap hit this year is around $10 million, I believe. Next year, the 5th-year option, $21 million. And then we have the right to utilize the franchise tag on him at least once, maybe more. I don't know if they altered the rule yet to where you can do it twice in a row. But either way, that is not a game that Witherspoon wants to play either. The team doesn't want to do it, but I don't think Devon Witherspoon wants to do it either. That would be a huge pain in the butt for him, and I think this team would be willing to do it for him because he is that good and is that valuable. So hopefully, if he's asking for the moon, if he's asking for something ridiculous, he can be brought down from that, because this is for his benefit too. He's got 2 years left on that rookie deal at a rate far lower than his actual value. And the way he plays football, injuries, they happen. And the last thing he wants is to have his value diminished by the time he actually gets to the open market, because he kept getting hurt, which is a possibility. So he's motivated to, he's not holding all the cards here. It would be very uncomfortable for him to play out his rookie deal and then get franchise tagged, which I say again, realistic possibility. So if he doesn't want that, then you are going to have to bring it down a little bit. But, 33 million a year, even slightly more than that, I'm not angry about that. So if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. Now, this article does go on to say that the communication and dialogue has been good. They're just not there yet, and they're going to keep talking right until the start of the season. So, again, that's why I suspect that's kind of the deadline. And as long as the deadline is met, then none of this matters, right? It could be signed in 2 minutes. It could be signed in 2 weeks. Could be signed in 2 days. Could be signed whenever. Before the season starts, it's all the same. We're not going to remember exactly when it happened. And by the way, the article goes on to say that Gonzalez wants to get a lot more than Witherspoon on his next contract. So it sounds like he wants to go second. Like he's dead set on being the second guy. And Witherspoon is, as of July anyway, believed to be further along in his contract than Gonzo. Now, that's really... Oh, shoot. Sorry. That's really about all there is to say right now, I think. It's just very obnoxious. I don't think this is a big deal. I firmly believe this will get done before the season starts. It would be very weird if it didn't to me. But it's very obnoxious because it really does feel like this is happening because these two players have the same agent. And that's causing this game of chicken that otherwise would have been done long ago. And maybe on some level it would be happening anyway, even if that wasn't the case. But it's just a very silly reason for this to get dragged into August in general. And I don't care if it drags through August, but if it gets to September, we're going to have a little bit of a problem, I think. Okay, so that's the latest and greatest. It's not great news in my mind, but so it is. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks.